Hey Robert, what's up? I had gotten your video that you had sent to me. It was basically a response to another one where you were discussing, basically you were responding to a video that was talking about how people on YouTube are deluded, thinking that they're going to get famous being on YouTube, and are they wasting their time, yada yada. And you gave your response. Basically your response was for someone who's not going to click the video, though they should, because it's interesting in its own way. That there are many good reasons for being on YouTube. Usually, and mostly you ran it down to connecting with people, and the fact that people have found ways of getting value out of it, that they've gotten financial support or gotten famous or whatever. And you sent it to me because you wanted me to weigh in with my own 2 cents. But that was cool. I don't know why you wanted me to. I'm not anyone special, but I guess I'll weigh in what my views on the whole YouTube thing is. First off, I will say this much. As far as wanting to be famous on YouTube, I really don't have any desire to, and I don't think that I will be. I'm not anyone special. I don't really have the gift of gab like some people do, like they're really charming with their words and all that. I don't have much of a presence, like a stage presence or a radio presence or whatever. I don't have that super deep voice that catches the attention of gains the admiration of the men and gets all the chicks, kind of like that announcer in Gauntlet. Wizard needs food bad. I'm not like that. So if I don't see myself doing that, then why the hell am I doing this? Well, I'm not doing this for fame, and I'm not really doing it for notoriety, and I don't even think I'm going to be famous. I might actually get a little form of infamy by doing some of these vids simply because of my views. Hell, I already knows that I've pissed at least one person off with one of my latest ones. But the reason why I do this is more, I guess, on the whole connective part that you talked about, connecting with people. Though I don't really want to connect with everybody. It's nice to, get that feeling, because I do believe that even though we are individuals, we are each individuals, and we shouldn't sell ourselves short by joining a group and mindlessly following that group, But I do believe in the connectiveness of human beings. We are social animals, and as such, we do want to feel connected with each other in some form or fashion. We can still keep our individuality and still connect with people, because the connections are important. And I guess that's what I'm doing, but I want to connect with a specific group of people. I honestly only decided to start making vids simply because I wanted to answer back to a particular YouTube video maker, KBiometrics, that's the name he goes by. I liked his videos, I liked his views. I will admit that I don't consider myself a total anarchist, but I do appreciate the anarchist philosophy, and I thought that he put a lot of those views very succinctly. I'm pretty sure there are other YouTube guys out there who do as well, but his was the one I saw, therefore I reacted with his. And I just put up a couple of vids just to respond to his, and then I just found myself spouting more and more of my opinion, and that's pretty much what I'm doing. And it's mostly to share my views with like-minded individuals and to see if they find any gaps in my logic. And if they are, to point them out so that I can correct them, or maybe I should pursue another type of path. It's more of an educational experience for me, to be honest, to further my own knowledge on different fields. It's not out of any sense of wanting to be famous or to get a whole crowd of people saying, yeah, that man is smart. I don't really need that. It's just more of, I happen to have a particular opinion on the way the world works, and I'm sharing this, and hopefully other intelligent people can further expand on that, point out some things that I haven't noticed, or if there's a flaw, then point out the flaws and let me see where I'm ignorant in a certain field so I can go and research it. Now, of course, I've put up other vids just simply dictating my interests, and that's just simply me sharing myself on there, because sooner or later that's what we're going to do. When you talk to a group of people and you start sharing ideas, sooner or later you start sharing bits about yourself. That's why I got the sword vids up, and why I got the mini disc vids up, and I'll probably put some silliness as well, because believe it or not, I'm not all seriousness. I can be a rather silly individual, and I've sometimes done goofy things, and I hopefully will put up some goofy stuff. I might even share some of the music I really like, but ultimately this thing is mostly to further my knowledge. But I will point out one thing that I do like about YouTube, and I'm hoping that it will keep this, though I fear that it won't be able to keep on doing this. I ultimately see YouTube as being one of the last venues left, media-wise, where human beings can communicate with each other with as little bullshit as possible. What do I mean by that? Well, we already know how TV is completely messed up. It's completely, it's all controlled by corporations and views. Even the news, we don't get real news on it anymore. Corporations will spin it the way they want to spin it. Government will definitely force them not to print certain news or say certain things on there or spin it a certain way, or they'll tell them this is exactly how it happened, say it exactly this way, and then they say it that way. So we're not really getting anything of real value from TV anymore, except maybe in very, very limited circumstances. And even then, the chances of one average citizen communicating ideas to another average citizen is very small. Radio also has been controlled as well. And it's gotten to, in the internet used to be like with internet message boards and chat rooms and stuff like that. When it first blew up, I mean, it was a huge explosion of just minds meeting minds, and you're dealing directly with individuals. And there was very little corporate interpretation in that, messing with it. But as the internet has gotten more and more popular and it's gotten more mainstream, I'm sorry, but this is true. Once the internet got more mainstream, it started getting dumbed down. It wasn't just intellectuals on the internet sharing ideas anymore. Now it's just the average Joe Schmo. I mean, look at MySpace. It's one of the, I'm sorry, MySpace is like a cesspool of stupidity. Just simply look at the people who put up the pages. That's all I gotta say. Having said that, it's the internet, even though the corporations and government is desperately trying to find some way to control the internet and what gets put on it and how it's presented, for the most part, it's still an avenue for people to communicate directly with other people. And YouTube has been a really good venue for that. True, there's a lot of mindless stuff on YouTube, and there's a lot of corporate stuff that gets put on too, because now organizations are finding ways of putting their crap on there so you can go to their web pages and later on watch their shows or buy their products or see their movies or whatever. But for the most part, vids are done just by regular Joe Schmoes like you and me, just with a cheap little webcam and a $10 microphone and just like talking crap. But we're dealing directly with each other, which is something that is sorely needed these days. Because these days, we tend to view groups of people as us versus them, especially with this whole separation mentality that we got going on, this whole divide and conquer mentality we have. Oh, they believe that, so then, we got to stay away from them. Oh, they don't believe in God, so you got to stay away from them. Oh, they do believe in God, so you got to stay away from them. Oh, he's a lefty, he's a right. But when you're dealing directly with individuals, and you keep your mind open, just kind of put your views on the side just for a bit, just to hear the other individual. Even if you ultimately don't agree with what they're saying, you can at least have an open dialogue with them and realize, well, despite what they believe, this is another human being here. Now, there's no guarantee that there's going to be harmony. Asshole's going to be an asshole, an idiot's going to be an idiot, but there are people out there with completely different views than yours who are still really cool individuals. Just because they don't happen to believe what you believe in doesn't mean that they're a bad person, and that sharing of ideas is very important. And that's what YouTube is about for me. It's probably different for somebody else, but that's what it's about for me, and I'm hoping that that can stay, though I have a bad feeling that sooner or later that's going to get crushed. We'll see. Later.